By December 1914, the war had been waging on for just 5 months, but the losses had already been enormous for both sides. Pope Benedict XV that month had been elected to the papacy. His first encyclical was a plea to end the war, or at least to guarantee a Christmas truce. This plea was initially refused by the Allies. Amidst December, the temperatures plummeted below zero. On Christmas Eve, a freezing night, some scattered fire sounded, but there wasn't an assault or charge from either side. During this cold night, the Germans were the first to start celebrating Christmas. They drank schnapps, typical strong German alcoholic drinks, and smoked their cigarettes. Here and there, they lifted a Christmas tree and lanterns above their trenches, placing candles in front of them, and somewhere they started singing Stille Nacht, Heilige Nacht. According to a first-hand account by a British soldier, Graham Williams, part of the London Rifle Brigade, stationed in France, after the Germans finished singing, the British figured they should start their own song. At first quiet, but then louder from the British trenches, hundreds of soldiers began singing the first Noel. Following this song, the Germans replied by singing O Tannenbaum, and it continued like that. In other places, events similar to this one took place. According to other first-hand accounts of veterans, the Germans called the Brits over, and vice versa, saying "Hey Fritz," "Hey Tommy." Those were the generic names soldiers gave each other back then. A few daredevils climbed out of their trenches and met with their counterparts in the middle of no man's land. They returned to their trenches at night in what was the beginning of a very curious truce. The next morning, on Christmas Day, on both sides, soldiers left their trenches. Soldiers waved at each other, and some entered the no man's land again to shake hands and greet their adversaries. They exchanged cigarettes, canned food, and newspapers. There are accounts that soldiers even played games with each other, such as football matches and cards. They shared their food and played music together. Aside from the fun and games, soldiers and officers used the truce to collect their dead from no man's land and give them a proper burial. It is estimated that around 2/3 of the Western Front respected the Christmas truce. In most places it lasted until the days after Christmas, but there are accounts of places where the peace lasted until New Year's Day or even further into January. Obviously, Army Command opposed the truce vehemently. It negatively impacted discipline and morale among the soldiers, yet it seemed that the official ordinances by higher-ups didn't help in subduing the Christmas spirit. Finally, when the frost subsided and the snow made place for rain, the atmosphere returned to a warlike setting. It was agreed between German and Allied commanders that they would give each other a sign once the truce ended, so that the war could be continued in a fair manner. As such, there are accounts such as that of a British medical officer who fired his pistol in the air 3 times to notify the Germans they were about to continue the war. After Christmas 1914, the First World War lasted for a little under 4 more years. It would cost millions of young men their lives. Yet this curious event shows that for a short while there was peace on the front, where the cannons and artillery noises halted for just a little while. Thank you for watching this video.